Nutrition is a key part of any diet, and in order to make sure that you're getting the right foods, today I want to take you through my grocery haul and what a typical grocery haul looks like, so I can give you some inspiration on things to grab next time you're at the grocery store for your week full of groceries. So without further ado, let's get to the video. You can't be healthy without getting your vegetables and fruits in, and the first thing that we typically do is shop on the outside of the grocery store to make sure that we're getting in our regular produce that we're going to need for the week. For me personally, this is going to consist of things like mushrooms, bell peppers, and baby spinach. Granted, there are a couple of different options that you can do whenever you're going through your grocery haul, and one of those things would also be frozen vegetables. Usually we'll do like steamed broccoli or different varieties similar to the ones that you see here, where we'll do different vegetable mixes or stir-fry mixes. That keeps things simple, sustainable, and of course, it tastes good. Me personally, I love the mushrooms and spinach with a nice pasta meal. Typically, I'll do that for lunch. We'll do a pasta along with some mushrooms, spinach, a vodka sauce, or some kind of red sauce, and ground beef. That way you feel like you're really eating a normal meal, but it goes great for a few days whenever you're trying to meal prep. I'll also use things like bell peppers in order to cook a nice chicken and rice dish. Kind of adds a little bit more variety as opposed to chicken, broccoli, and rice. And you can even add things like corn, maybe some beans, and have yourself a nice little chicken bowl. Another great way to add a little bit of variety as well is mixing things like these sparkling waters. Now there's a brand out there called Ice, I'll go ahead and put a picture on the screen now, that you can use, but I use these Member Mark sparkling waters. They taste great and there's a lot of different flavors, but you do need a Sam's Club membership. So if you don't have one of those, you can always just go to your grocery store and pick up varieties like this. These are 0 calories. I believe the Ice are about 10 calories, but at the end of the day, it's nothing substantial. They don't have caffeine in them, and they taste great. And since they don't have caffeine, you can enjoy them at essentially any time of the day, and it's not gonna really impact your ability to sleep. While I'd still recommend drinking regular water, these are a nice way to break away from drinking regular water, especially if you're someone that gets sick of just plain water regularly. Now, when we're talking about breakfast, one of my favorite go-to breakfasts is always gonna be oatmeal. As you can see, we've got rolled old-fashioned oats here. I love a good bowl of oats. There's so many different ways to make oats that it's crazy. Tons of recipes online. And one of my favorite here lately has been oats with cinnamon whey protein powder, along with some pistachio butter, and of course a little bit of pecans to add some crunch. And honestly, there's so many different ways to make oats that you really can't go wrong having a full bag or a bunch of oats sitting around the house. And if you're not a fan of oats, you can always make a breakfast burrito. We personally keep the Mission Carb Balance tortillas around a good bit. Granted, I do run a lot, however, I still eat these just from my days of lifting weights, going on cuts and things like that. It's just a habit and I enjoy the way that they taste. They're also only 70 calories, so that definitely helps. These are great for taco nights. They're also great for things like quesadillas and of course burritos like I mentioned before. You can do breakfast burritos and you can pretty much use them day and night. We use a family size pack and it's just me and my wife here, but we definitely eat them enough to justify the purchase. And if you're trying to mix in more carbs because you're like me and you're running, look no further than just some regular pasta. This is technically a protein pasta and I'll be honest, we haven't had it yet, but one thing that I do want to mention is protein pastas like this are definitely great once again for meal prep and of course for dinner. Pasta's super simple, really easy, really quick, and it'll be so simple that it'll keep you from eating out, and having things like this around the house is definitely helpful. I'll also say that one thing that's nice about pasta is you can pretty much use it for anything. It goes well with casseroles. You can keep it relatively low calorie and it's pretty versatile. Another versatile option when it comes to carb options are gonna be rice cakes. Yes, I know these are processed, but they're only about 60 calories for the chocolate and they get as low as about 30, 35-ish for the just plain rice cakes. While they don't add a ton of fiber or micronutrients, they still provide a lot of value in terms of volume, being low calorie, and for something like the chocolate or caramel ones, you can have a nice little sweet treat. We also keep the white cheddar ones around. These taste kind of like a plain Cheeto. You can add different things to these, and if you're interested in recipes, let me know down in the comment. I'll show you some of the ways that we spice these up. but obviously just having the simple peanut butters and fruits on top of the sweeter ones is a great option. And then something like a smoked salmon, thinly cut, on something like this with maybe a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of tomato is also a great option. Now that we've turned around, let's go ahead and go over some of my protein options and some of my favorite proteins to keep in the house on a weekly basis. The first one is a nice butcher meat. We do have some filet here, but we also will keep around like a New York strip, things like this. This is a little bit more of an expensive option. You can always go for the cheaper options. However, we do like to eat a nice filet or maybe a nice New York strip from time to time, roughly once a week. We also have eggs over here, 5 dozen. Plenty of eggs. If you watch my full day of eating shorts, then you know that I eat eggs almost every day. If I'm not eating them, it's because I've eaten them so much that they're starting to upset my stomach. However, for the most part, I eat eggs every day. And of course, some ground beef here. This is 93.7 ground beef. The leaner the beef, the less the calories. I wouldn't recommend going 99.1 on ground beef though. That can be a little bit too dry and it definitely takes away from the flavor. We stick to 93.7. It still has micronutrients in it, still has some fats in it, but it's not as lean as the 99.1, but it's not as fatty as the 80/20 that you would have regularly at like a cookout for burgers. Because we have the Sam's membership, we also have a couple of things of chicken breasts. Keep a few pounds of this around for meal prep as well as dinners. These are also the organic chicken breasts. You don't have to do organic, but because we get our meat from Sam's, at least the bulk of our meat, we choose to go the organic route because I personally think it tastes better and so does my wife. That's a choice, but if you are fine just eating the regular chicken breasts, do you. And then getting into some of the funner options to kind of make these meals come alive. We've got some vodka sauce here. I've been switching it up to different vodka sauces. Having a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a full serving of a vodka sauce or a red sauce or whatever it is that you're consuming. This is about 150 calories per serving. I'll probably use about half of that per meal, and that'll be enough to really make it feel like a normal dish. We've also got some Pines nut butters here. This is the almond butter. This right here is the key to great oatmeal. This is pistachio butter. I use this Pines nut butter because it's a local Denver brand, and because it's a local Colorado brand, I just like to have it around the house. I think it tastes great. They have different types of nut butters from almond to peanut to pistachio. So definitely keep this around. Definitely have a few different flavors here. And it's obviously a great option if you can fit it into your calories. But if you can't fit regular peanut butter into your calories, look no further than the classic PB Fit. I like to eat this pretty regularly when it comes to things like the rice cakes or even oatmeals from time to time. If I need to keep things low calorie, this is the option. Something like PB Fit, you can mix it with oat milk, you can mix it with regular milk, really however you want to prepare it. I'll usually just do water and mix it so that way it's pretty thick, and honestly, I think it tastes great. I've also got a couple of little avocado cups. We did unpack our grocery order this week and put it in the refrigerator, so that's why these are loose, but these are a great option. They make things easy and simple, and the easier and simpler things are, the more sustainable eating healthy is gonna be. If you can keep meals around 15 minutes when it comes to a prep time, then there's really no excuse to go out and eat or order something like DoorDash. And that'll allow you to stay a lot healthier and eat a lot cleaner, hit those protein goals, hit the micronutrient goals, things like that. Speaking of micronutrients, we always keep around a lot of fruit. Again, if you watch my full days of eating, you know I love to have kiwis around. I eat usually 2 of these every single day. I'll eat them with the skin on. I think that's the most optimal way to eat them. It adds a little bit more micronutrients, and honestly, I just like the texture better than the soft, squishy kiwis. But do whatever you want to do. It's your world. I'm just giving some recommendations here. And at the end of the day, I like them with the skin on. We also have some raspberries. We keep these in the Pyrex bowls. Make sure you're cleaning your fruit. We love having raspberries as well as blueberries. We've got a couple quarts here and a massive thing of strawberries. We love strawberries, eat them every day. It's one of my favorite fruits and it's great for you. Obviously, the fruit will go great with things like oatmeal. It goes great by itself, but something I do like to do from time to time is add a little bit of Cool Whip. Yes, this isn't the most healthy. Yes, it's not gonna have the most optimal ingredients. However, it's only 15 calories, and for me personally, I'm willing to spend 15 calories to liven up a meal a little bit, especially whenever we're talking about, our fruit, but also even something as simple as a Ninja Creamy If you watch the channel, then you know that I like to eat Ninja Creamies as well. This is a great option to kind of sprinkle it on top and make it feel like a real ice cream. We also got a cold foam spray here. This one is from Trader Joe's. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to recommend this one, but if you have tried the Silk ones, I think they're a good option. A little bit, again, goes a long way. And if you're somebody that is addicted to coffee and you need a nice sweet coffee with cream and sugar, having a little bit of this as a replacement to that cream and sugar is a great option. Finding ways to substitute out unhealthy foods or things that are higher in calories is a great first step when it comes to losing weight. So having the whipped cream, having the cold foam around is a great first step towards finding a substitution that might help you cut calories and lose that extra 5 to 10 pounds, especially as we're going into the spring. Getting that summer body ready is key and essential for most people right now. And if you're one of those people, make those substitutions now so that way you can continue to cut those calories and make it feel seamless, but not too restrictive. And last but not least, another thing that I eat regularly is Greek yogurt. These are the Oikos Greek yogurts, the 000s. There's no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and there's no fat. You can do regular Greek yogurt if you want, that's totally up to you. I personally think it's disgusting. But with that said, having these around, they're great. They taste like normal yogurt, high in protein, and again, very easily accessible. Something like 2 minutes to prepare this with some fruit in the morning, so there's no excuse not to have a full, well-rounded breakfast when you have things like this around. My favorite way to consume it is honestly cooking some oats, just normal oats with one of these on top, and then adding some fruit as well as maybe PB Fit or nut butter, depending on how many calories I'm gonna expend that day, and consuming that all mixed up into a bowl. The Greek yogurt is the star of the dish. The oats add a little bit of substance. The fruit is obviously great and tart. And then the peanut butter kind of adds a little bit of a twist to it. Just makes it a little bit more of the salty versus the sweet, in my opinion, but one of my favorite options for sure. Anyways, that's about it as far as the grocery haul goes for this week. We do have more groceries when it comes to like the frozen goods and things like that. However, we don't use those as often, so typically that's like a once a month type thing. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know down in the comments, and I'll make a video separate with frozen foods that I think are good options, that are clean, relatively healthy, but most importantly, easy to prepare and keep you on track for your dieting goals. Anyways, that's going to be about it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's content, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And if you're interested in pursuing a fitness journey and you're just getting started, but you don't know how to get started, feel free to click the link down in the description below. I run a company called Tourist Group, and one of the things that we offer is accountability coaching to help people get on track when it comes to diet, nutrition, as well as their fitness goals, working out, whatever it might be. We can do weekly tag ups, and it's relatively cheap, but what is free when it comes to that are the consultations. So if you are interested, feel free to click the link down below and we'll get you started. That's going to be it for today's video, but don't go anywhere yet. This video right here is one that YouTube recommended just for you. And until next time, keep it together.